self-esteem, self-esteem. I mean, you kind of went over that already. You mentioned it. Finding that, finding the reasons for hope and regaining confidence through not only more traditional therapies as well as cinema therapy. Um, could you give I know you're hesitant to give a specific example of a movie that could be applied, but you know, because I think the audience is smart enough where they're not going to go out and say, hey, this is not working. She said it would work. Could you give an example of someone that is in a very bad place with self-esteem, and they don't know what movie to watch? They don't like any movies. They're not really a movie person, but they want to learn about movies. Is there some basic movies about self-esteem that you might?
Yeah. So first I need to talk a little bit about how I work with this in general. Well, for self-esteem questions, cognitive therapy is a great tool. One of other tools available also. And so what I do is I use movies as an adjunct to cognitive therapy in this case. Cognitive therapy works with beliefs, negative beliefs. So we need to understand that we hold negative beliefs, and self-esteem is a result of negative beliefs about ourselves. So self-esteem can be based on issues, can be based on different kind of negative beliefs. It could be, I'm not being loved, I will never be able to overcome something like a separation or something, or I will not be able to pursue my dreams, right? So depending on what the underlying issue is, for example, let's say I will never be able to pursue my dreams or reach my goals. Like a movie like, for example, Billy Elliot or Whale Rider. They're both about children. I like movies about children. They, again, go through the hero's journey. They don't see how they can reach their dreams, like Billy Elliot about the dancing. And they're able to do it. So now somebody might say, well, this is just a movie. That's where the cognitive therapy comes in. And if somebody goes with the steps that cognitive therapy prescribes about overcoming these beliefs, negative beliefs, and then watches the movie, it's just a way to enhance the effects of the two powerful effects. The powerful effect of the movie, because sound effects, visual images, dialogue, all this goes to our subconscious in a very deep way. So powerful effect of the movie in combination with the powerful effect that cognitive therapy can have. It's just a mutual enhancement.
Can you summarize? I know it's hard to just summarize something so vast as cognitive therapy, but can you summarize the steps maybe? Are there 10 or 5?
I would go too much into detail. Okay. But what I can say is that in cognitive therapy we learn that our beliefs affect our emotions. And once we get that, and then clients are more motivated to actually look at their beliefs, because they just feel bad about them. Once they understand they feel bad because they have these beliefs, then they can learn the process.
And like you said, readjust their thinking.
Right.
And then that's really the starting point.
Exactly.
And then it's become, hey, their feelings are changing, and now their behaviors are changing.
Right.
And you just keep spiraling out instead of down.
Good. You did your homework.
I did. We were Googling in the car, and I have a psychology degree, but yeah. Okay, getting into the area that I know on the phone again, you said it seemed like you're not comfortable, or it didn't seem like you'd be an expert or anything, but I still wanted to ask it one more time. Do you think Hollywood films represent body image fairly?
Most of them don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether you know that movie, Real Women Have Curves.
It's at my house. I'm watching it this weekend.
Right. And then there is something that I don't like so much is Shallow Hal. Right.
I want to argue with that, but go ahead.
Okay.
Tell me about Shallow Hal. What do you think about that?
Well, I've seen it quite a while ago, but for some people it might be helpful. But some people come out of it and say, I can't identify with this. With Real Women Have Curves, I think it's easier to identify with the character.
I agree.
See, that's everybody so different.
Yeah.
That's why I can't make a judgment call. Somebody comes in and says, I want to do cinema therapy. I can't do that. I can only say I need to get to know you for several sessions. I need to not only get to know you and your history, I need to get to know your movie history. What movies you like, what you respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to give it back. I can't, that's why I don't like the prescriptive way so much.
Right.
Because it's very difficult to understand somebody and how they might respond to a movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's a good therapist, right? Regardless if it's sim therapy or not. You need to know who you're dealing with. You need to,
Right.
you can't prescribe something. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's skip that one over. The placebo effect. I'm sure you're more than familiar with that. I've heard grandiose stories about how it helps people with their physical illnesses, and you talk about cancer and humor and Patch Adams.
Yes.
That movie is unbelievable. And that's almost another. That's like taking the physical sciences and adding to the, adding it to humor. Could you talk more about? Well, could you talk about placebo effect? I mean, I'm assuming that part of the effect that movies has isn't only connecting it to cognitive, making the relationships, the connections in here. I'm sure it's a big part of it, but there's also just the feeling when you come out of a movie. I mean, this is me coming out of a movie. I feel connected, like you said. You feel connected to that main character. If it's Neo in Matrix, or there's some similarities. And wow, I wish I was courageous to take that last step and save his family or save whoever. I'm imagining there's a placebo effect. I've concluded in my mind that things are different. Maybe it's not placebo. Maybe it is just cognitive. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's hard for me to understand the question because, first of all, placebo is real, meaning something happens physically because our mind and body are connected. So we have a certain thinking process or emotional process that changes body function in the placebo effect. We take a pill, that's a vitamin pill, but we believe it and it has an effect. Now, all psychology is psychological, right? Movies, of course, affect us psychological. So, of course, everything is placebo in that, and it's real for being placebo.
Right, okay.
So that's why the question is a little bit...
You have to allow it to be effective.
Right.
You have to allow it to be real.
Right.
I mean, if you just keep telling me stuff and I'm just like this, then there's no placebo effect happening. Is that what you mean, kind of?
We actually enhance the placebo effect by asking the client to really focus on that character, to become that character internally, to imagine you are, they step into the movie screen, you are that character, and then you bring it back into your life. We enhance it in that. We want the placebo effect, if you want to call it that way.
Okay, interesting. No, I like that. I think of mania. I think of that aspect of mental health, and mania is associated with delusions. And I would imagine someone who's manic or on the manic side of bipolar, it could be very dangerous.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Could you speak a little bit about that?
Oh, there are quite some dangers with cinema. I mean, because all these effects of therapy are so much enhanced with the influence of the movie, I need to be very careful. That's also a reason why I need to get to know the person. If they're delusional, I wouldn't want to send them home, or they're violent in their house, in their home. I wouldn't want to send them home, watch a movie, and get into danger, right? So schizophrenic people sometimes often don't kind of distinguish between reality and the illusion. And so and by the way, these kind of patients or clients are usually more seen in hospitals, and there's a controlled situation, and there are a lot of movie therapy is done also in hospitals, but it's much more controlled than in private practice.